So it's 3:55 p.m. right now. I wasn't going to start shooting video until I got to my car, and then I noticed this. Oh yes, looks to be an early 1980s, maybe a mid 1980s Mercury. I forget what the hell these are called. It's the equivalent of the Grand Marquis, I think. Yeah, Mercury Grand Marquis. It's looking kind of rough, but it's got potential. Man, that body damage in the back from shit bouncing around inside the trunk is pretty sad, though. Yeah, it's like the luxury version of the Ford Crown Victoria back in the day. I don't see cars like that on the road very often. Wow, still over here servicing the what you call it? Servicing the ATM rinks with their money truck. Couldn't help but notice the guy doing it is wearing a bulletproof vest. I did look over that job that was recommended through ZipRecruiter, which would be doing what that guy's doing right now, and I read it out loud to Keontae. That's the time I mostly look at ZipRecruiter, is when I'm rolling in the shag with Keontae, because he's usually kind of focused sometimes on sports radio, sometimes he'll be streaming podcasts or whatever, so his mind's kind of there, so we don't talk as much as like when I'm riding with Andre and we talk. So I'll be looking at my smartphone and my notices from ZipRecruiter at that time, and if I see something that I think is interesting, that I think he might also find to be an interesting job, I'll read it. So I was reading the description of that one, and we started talking about how, not like I'm the sort of person that's going to commit an armed robbery, but if I was, the guy doing that job would probably be like on my top 5 list. And he agreed with me, and I'm like, you know, the amount of money that they're offering here doesn't seem adequate considering the amount of risk of getting robbed, most likely robbed with a weapon. And he agreed wholeheartedly with me on that. And even more than the background check thing, that was the main reason I decided not to put in an application for that. I thought of working a job where I'm such a target that I would need to wear a bulletproof vest, assuming that that's even being provided by the company. That might be dude's own bulletproof vest that he's choosing for additional protection because he realizes that he is a target rolling around with access to that much money servicing ATMs. Yeah, add that to the list of jobs that I really don't think I want, even though I could probably figure out how to do the job just fine. Now, if society wasn't as fucked up as it is these days, it'd probably be a great job. But the economy being what it is right now, and society being what it is right now, too much of that kind of crime is happening, and I just don't feel like putting myself at that much risk. So the stop at Cox went okay. The woman who ended up helping me, oh, this is such an awkward layout of lanes here. And I know it's like that. I know half the time it's advantageous to just stay in the straight lane, not get in the turning lane, and then get into that second turning lane after the intersection when it appears. Although it's all good. I got the green light. I'm headed onto the freeway. It does look pretty congested, and perhaps I should have looked at traffic view on Obama Phone 5, or maybe even Obama Phone 3, while I was in at Cox and had access to their super fast Wi-Fi inside the Cox store. Although going to Rob's shop, I don't have a whole lot of options from here, because I got to get across the Salt River and get across the airport. So it's not like I just have the option of getting on a surface street or a side street and evading rush hour traffic. And I am well into rush hour traffic. It is 4:01 p.m. right now. I rearranged my icons a little bit on Obama Phone 5, so muscle memory didn't take me right to maps. Because I'm to the point now with some of my devices, like I'll open stuff up without even looking at the device whatsoever. Oh yes, traffic is bad. Bad, bad, bad. With a continued chance of bad. This looks like shit all the way to the mini stack. Although it kind of looks like smooth sailing past the mini stack. That brings the question, is it worth it to tough it out all the way to the mini stack from here? Or would I fare better on surface streets? Yeah, the way it's flowing, I think I'll do all right to just kind of tough it out. Whoa, hello, big truck. Yeah, see, I'm down here below what you can see with your oversized door. That guy probably couldn't see me. The roof of my car is not much higher than the bottom of his window, assuming he was even looking at his blind spot. I might not have been in his mirror. We were both coming to the same lane at the same time. I need to be making my way into left lanes. Traffic is kind of predictable. It's pretty bad all the way to the mini stack. Showing green all the way to the split, but once I get a little bit past the split, I'm going to be back in red across the Salt River all the way to 32nd Street. And then turning onto University. For some reason, it's not showing me the traffic on University. Anyway, there's never that much traffic on University. Here's my chance to change lanes, as long as somebody doesn't try to come in from the other side. I'm not sure how I got on Mexican radio. This radio is messed up. Sometimes it just changes stations by itself.
If you have any information on her case, please ask that you call 480-WITNESS. You can
probably
stay anonymous,
wouldn't.
and you can read more at KTAR.com.
Yeah, nobody can stay anonymous. Not now.
Right. Here's Detour Dan now in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Becky Lynn. I'm not seeing any shockers out there on the freeways, but I do see one of those Friday afternoon delays on the I-10 on the south side of the valley. Brake lights in both directions. The eastbound I-10, very heavy from the 202 Santan Freeway all the way down to about Riggs Road, and then it reloads again, approaching Sackatoon for a few miles. The westbound side approaching the valley also has about 5 miles of slowing, approaching Firebird Lake as well. Here in town, the 202 Santan. If you're westbound, you're getting brake lights from Greenfield all the way over, from Dobson all the way into Greenfield, and you also have slowing on the 101 Pima Freeway in the southbound direction right now, from Via de Ventura southbound all the way down to about US 60. Once you hit the 60, you're in much better shape. And the 10, by the way, you got brake lights too from the split into the Broadway curve eastbound. This traffic report brought to you by your Valley Chevy Dealers. See your Valley Chevy Dealers today during the Red Tag Bonus Cash Sale. Let's ride together in your new Chevy. Stop by Auto.
I really wanted to get right behind that Polestar, just for the fun of being behind a Polestar.
Chances continue here in the valley late tonight and especially early Saturday morning. Overnight lows tonight will dip into the mid-60s with highs on Saturday only in the upper 70s with a chance of rain at 60%. I'm ABC 15 meteorologist Jorge Torres.
Currently in Surprise, 80 degrees. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Becky Lynn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News. Spanning the Valley of the Sun and all across the 48th state. This is the Gatos and Chad Show.
Happy Friday, baby. Well, it's 4:06. And And if you were listening to us yesterday, we were telling you how Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who's a member of the Hamas caucus in the U.S. Congress, if you ask me.
He said cock.
So she's very anti-Israel. She's anti-Semitic.
Jew hater.
She's something else. She was scheduled to speak on the campus of ASU. University canceled the event. Seemed like it was a technicality. All the paperwork wasn't done extremely efficiently. And to me, it looks like ASU is like, okay, how do we call this thing off without, was trampling her First Amendment rights. Oh, that's right. Well, you didn't go through the right policy or process.
They were saying that they now require them to have insurance, which they said they didn't have to have, and
because as much as you dislike her, Chad, you've said they should allow her to speak.
100%, and I will stand up and fight for her right to speak. Partly because this is the country who we are. This is what we have. If you want to call it hate speech, by the way, for those of you not keeping score, the only speech that is protected is hate speech. Secondly, because I want to know what these people are saying. I think we deserve to know what they're saying.
Okay, so now there's a march. Okay, and there's chanting.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
You guys can't sing "We're the Damned," but that's okay. What else we got here?
ASU, you can't hide. You're supporting genocide.
Okay, all right.
Everything's got a rhyme.
Okay.
No haikus.
Why don't we go out live to this? Is it a rally, Chad, or is
I believe it's a rally.
Okay, it's
the worst pep rally ever.
All right. There's chanting. There's all that stuff going on. Joining us now is Valen Overstolz. He's one of KTAR's great reporter. Valen, you're in the middle of this.
There's a Tesla behind
right now. I'm following
the Polestar.
behind the march, and there's a lot going on down here right now.
Yeah. Okay. How many protesters do you think? Are we talking like a couple dozen or a couple hundred?
Man, I don't want to throw a number out there because it's not the thing I'm the best at. I'll say more than a couple dozen for sure, though. Not more than 100. Maybe you're looking about 3 to 4 dozen.
Okay.
Okay. So
props for honest estimates.
From Tucson as well, joining up. Where are they headed now? Because they already went to an administrator's building and screamed and yelled and threw a fit. Where are they heading back to now?
That's the
Right
Oak
now, we're heading
Underpass.
back to Neeb Hall. That's where I'm following them.
Oak Pedestrian
We just left
Underpass.
the MU. That's the main sort of student hub at the university. There, they actually were speaking to students who were sitting around, not part of this. Trying to rile them up and get them, to follow along in the march. And then the Starbucks there actually closed those sort of garage window doors you see on some restaurants. They closed those because of the commotion and the people speaking outside.
All right. Valen Overstolz, our KTAR reporter, is out in Tempe. We got the pro-Palestinian Hamas march. What kind of folks, age-wise, are in this march? Is it mostly young people?
Definitely a university crowd, but I'm also seeing some older folks around too, some event organizers. One woman I spoke with briefly said she was university faculty, so there is a pretty wide range of people here. And in fact, one of the people who spoke at the MU, she said she was a Jewish student who felt more safe, being a part of this organization than other student organizations.
Yeah, I'm looking at a hippie right now with long hair. He looks like he's well in his 50s. You can see him in his pink shirt because I'm watching it live as you guys wander around.
Are you watching it live?
I am watching it live. Okay. I am. Okay, so they said they're worried about, the police and the violence and the counter-protesters. Are there counter-protesters? Because I've not seen anything.
I haven't seen any down here yet. Obviously, there's still some time left in this, so we'll see. I have seen a pretty small police presence, but there's definitely some sprinkled throughout the campus.
Nobody's throwing rocks, right?
Nobody throwing rocks.
No, people throw any rocks.
They've been very clear that they don't want to cause a commotion like that. There was a little bit of...
There was a recent protest where a bunch of rock throwing happened. That's what they're referencing.
I think a biker accidentally ran into a protester and they got heated for a second.
All right, peaceful so far.
Biker or a cyclist?
Yeah,
Not the same thing.
For sure.
Okay.
Is Rashida Tlaib, are they going to have her speak? Because we heard that she's going to be on the phone, or is that not happening?
What I'm hearing is she will join on the phone and they're going to, quote, amplify her voice. I think they're planning really to rig her up with some speakers and get that out there loud.
I think somebody's going to have her on a speakerphone, Chad, honestly, and that's about it.
Well, no, they've got little, I've seen they brought their little boom boxes and everything, so, I'm watching it.
All right, Valen, we'll talk to you a little later in the show. Let us know what's going on, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Valen Overstolz, KTAR reporter, out in Tempe. Well, I mean, I don't listen. You're going to get a bunch of different. Who knows? You have young people there as balanced. Then you're going to have older people there. And I just wonder: do some of the people marching? Do they even know what they're saying? Do they even know what they're marching about?
Do they even know what it means?
Of course not.
I don't know.
Do you understand that? That's what I want to know. Do you understand what these words mean? These phrases mean? Do you understand exactly what they mean and how they were meant? They weren't meant as
Never really noticed what the 24th Street SkyTrain station looks like from here. It's pretty cool.
It wasn't meant as aspirational. Hamas didn't put this into their charter to be aspirational. They want to kill and eliminate the Jews.
They're honest about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as honest as you can get. Hamas leaders have said, we want a ceasefire. You guys are crushing us. And we're going to come after you like we did on October 7th again.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally say that. They're not hiding the fact.
Everybody.
So according to Google Traffic View, once I get around this curve, there's going to be a wall of traffic.
We're going to continue to do it again.
Yeah, I need to be in the right lane and ready for it.
And genocide. I always go back to what everybody says about genocide. When people don't like to know. And for people that are
People who don't anticipate that kind of stuff are the ones that usually cause the rear ender accidents.
And growing.
Yeah, it's not a genocide. They're growing in population fast. So we'll keep you up to date on what's happening in Tempe. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib was scheduled to be there at 4.
She'll be there in spirit.
And she'll be there, I guess, on the phone and all that kind of thing. And she'll still talk to the folks there. Okay, here's what we're going to do. When we come back, there's an Arizona, actually several Arizona politicians, right?
Yeah.
Democrat and Republican. Yesterday, they signed a letter together to try and block Rashida Tlaib from speaking at ASU. We're going to speak to one of those politicians. Did their letter work?
Did it play in today's
Sort of, but nobody will ever admit that.
Today's big, her being on campus, did this play into that not happening?
All right. We'll speak to one of those Arizona representatives coming up next on the Gatos and Chad Show. All right, let's talk about your money. Stock market's looked pretty good the last few days.
Yeah, I don't really want to listen to that. Before I got distracted by that, I was kind of wanting to talk about the electric vehicles that I saw and whether or not they were heading into the rental return. I wasn't able to really see that, although the Tesla that I was following didn't seem to go that way. And another fleeting thought that went through my head while I was trying to also listen to that segment of the Gatos and Chad Show, which I still want to call the Mac and Gato Show, but that's another thing. I noticed that the Tesla had the blue alternative fuel plates on it. And it reminded me that it used to be when they first added these HOV lanes to the freeways here in Arizona, there were 2 classes of vehicles that were allowed to use it without being high occupancy vehicles. A high occupancy vehicle defined in Arizona has 2 or more people in the vehicle. And that was motorcycles. I'm pretty sure motorcycles are still allowed in it. I think I've seen it some places where the signage says motorcycles okay. And I think by proxy, motorcycles are considered high occupancy vehicles under Arizona traffic code just by the fact that they only seat one person. Now granted, you can generally ride a person behind you on it, but one person on a motorcycle, I think, meets the Arizona statutory definition of a high occupancy vehicle. But the other class of vehicles that was allowed was alternative fuel vehicles. And I'm not sure if that's still allowed in Arizona. I'm looking, as I'm stopped here, I'm looking over at the HOV lane sign, and I'm not seeing the alt fuel logo on the sign where it used to be. There used to be a little thing that was on all the HOV lane signs that had the same like color cloud thing going on as the Arizona alternative fuel license plates. And I think it says something along the lines of alt fuel okay, or alt fuel, meaning that you could use the HOV lane as long as you had a vehicle to qualify for those kind of plates. And I'm wondering if maybe that got changed. I'm gonna have to do a little research into that. I'm usually in the know about those sort of things, but I don't know about that now. I do remember that there was a lot of outrage about those kind of plates, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, when there was a very big rebate program in Arizona, and it was supposed to encourage people to buy small hybrids, but what it ended up being mostly abused by was people buying expensive large trucks and SUVs and getting the rebate and getting these large trucks and RVs that were equipped to run either on gasoline or propane, and being used by people that had zero intentions of ever running the things on propane and just running them on gasoline, and used as a way to have access to the HOV lanes while driving a single passenger large SUV, and also take advantage of this huge rebate to get a substantial discounted taxpayer expense for an expensive vehicle. Anyway, there was a lot of public outrage over it. It got covered heavily by the media here. See if I can link an article in the video description, because God knows I always get around to doing that when I say I'm going to do it. Oh, fuck me. I got all the way here and I forgot to stop by the bank and get cash for Rob. And I have absolutely no cash on me. Like, I have not even a penny on me because I emptied the change out of my pocket before I headed out. Oh, and it looks like he's probably trying to get out of here. So anyway, there was a lot of public outrage over it, and I remember after that, this whole epidemic of people who had alt fuel plates getting their vehicles egged, even people who weren't taking advantage of that program. So after that, a lot of people who were eligible for alt fuel plates didn't get them. And I'm wondering if maybe the law changed regarding alt fuel HOV lane usage in the aftermath of that. I don't know. I'm going to look that up after I go in and talk to Rob, of course.